Yo, this is Afro, aka All Flows Reach Out, and you're listening to Built for This Network. Yes, sir. From the building, stay bomb.
Yo, this is Big Illinois 73, host of the Backyard Podcast, Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time on the Built for This Network. Check us out. Hosted by yours truly, with my panel, my fam. We got the sister Kim Webb, the brother Dre MC1, the brother Anuliel, and the brother H-Rap B. No topic is off limit. We laugh and joke. We get serious. Try to be informative. Check us out. Once again, that's the Backyard Podcast, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Let's go.
How's it going, guys? My name is Johnny Arnett, and in this new Versus series, we take a look at two greats of basketball history as we analyze their skills, achievements, and career totals, ending with a conclusion on who is the greater basketball player overall. Today, our matchup is Allen the Answer Iverson versus George the Iceman Gervin. One legend spent the majority of his career playing in the NBA in the late 90s and throughout the 2000s, while the other played in the ABA and NBA throughout the 70s and 80s. Starting with the basics, Iverson was a 6-foot point guard / shooting guard who weighed about 165 pounds. Gervin was a 6'7 shooting guard / small forward who weighed about 180 pounds. We'll compare these two greats with 5 major categories, which are scoring, playmaking, efficiency, defense, and accolades. First off, scoring. It's no secret that both of these legends are among the greatest scorers in NBA history. Iverson had a career scoring average of 26.7 points. He won 4 scoring titles, and his career high was 60 points against the Magic in 2005. Iverson also has the second greatest playoff scoring average in NBA history at 29.7 points, trailing only Michael Jordan. Gervin had a career scoring average of 25.1 points. He also won 4 scoring titles, and his career high was 63 points against the New Orleans Jazz in 1978, and his career playoff scoring average was 26.5. Iverson was a volume shooting assassin, and he spent the majority of his career carrying a 76ers offense with little offensive support. He had a smooth jump shot and was fearless when attacking the paint, accompanied with an all-time great layup package. Thanks to Iverson's brave and aggressive nature, he was always among the league leaders in free throw attempts, averaging significantly more attempts over his career than Gervin did. Iverson was also an elite scorer for a significant amount of time. He averaged at least 25 points per game in 10 straight seasons, which only him and 7 other players have ever accomplished. And unfortunately for Gervin, he wasn't all that close to being one of them. Now, the Iceman did the majority of his damage in the mid-range and around the painted area. He's famously known as the player who made the finger roll famous, and he was overall just incredibly talented at finishing around the rim. He was never much of a perimeter shooter, averaging less than 1 3-point attempt per game over the course of his career. Overall, when you look at consistent scoring and the variety of ways they could do it, the edge goes slightly to Allen Iverson. Second up is playmaking. This is another area where the answer stands out. As famous and well-known as he was as a scorer, he often doesn't get enough credit for his solid passing abilities and court vision. He managed to make solid passes and get a ton of assists considering the amount of shots he was taking per game. On Iverson's career, he shot 21.8 shots per game and averaged 6.2 assists per game. His 21.8 shots is the 4th highest shots per game average in NBA history. Of the top 10 players with the highest shots per game average of all time, only one player averaged more assists per game over their career than Allen Iverson, which was Jerry West. Among these players are legends like Michael Jordan, Pistol Pete Maravich, and Rick Barry, and Iverson averaged more assists per game than all of them. He did this with his vision, but he was also one of the greatest ball handlers of all time, and he's extremely quick, which often forced a second defender to help on Iverson, which naturally opened up his teammates for clean looks. Now, although Gervin's 6'7" frame was hard to defend, it's no secret that George often looked to make a play just for himself rather than his teammates as well. In the entirety of Gervin's career, he never once averaged at least 4 assists per game in a season. Facilitating certainly wasn't among his skill set. In Iverson's 14 years in the NBA, he never once averaged as few assists per game as Gervin did in his best season. With all of these things considered, playmaking clearly goes to Allen Iverson. Third up is efficiency, and although this has been an area where Allen Iverson has been criticized by some analytic-loving basketball fans, it's certainly not as bad as advertised. His career field goal percentage is 42.5%, but his true shooting percentage is very comparable to other greats like Russell Westbrook, Isaiah Thomas, and Carmelo Anthony. But on the other hand is Gervin, who wasn't just great at efficiently scoring, but he was one of the greatest ever in that criteria. An incredible fact about the Iceman is that other than LeBron James, he's the only wing player in NBA history to have a career average of over 25 points per game while shooting over 50% from the field for his career. Again, just LeBron and George Gervin. His best single season overall came in the 1979-1980 season, where he averaged 33.1 points per game while shooting 52.8% from the field. Other than Michael Jordan, no wing player in NBA history has ever averaged that many points while shooting above 50% for a season, let alone Gervin's 52.8%. Iverson was a decent 78% from the free throw line, but Gervin for his career shot an elite 84.1%. In this area of efficiency, the edge is strongly given to George Gervin. Next is defense, which is a bit of a complicated aspect for these two greats. In the case of Iverson, he was often undersized, guarding players significantly taller and heavier than him, but at one point, he actually led the NBA in steals per game for 3 consecutive seasons. With that being said, he never once made an all-defense team appearance, and in large part, that was because most people could recognize that he wasn't a great on-ball defender, which Iverson himself has admitted. But he was good at jumping the passing lanes, which can be risky and sometimes resulted in a defensive breakdown for his team and a basket for the opponent. Gervin wasn't known to be an elite on-ball defender either, as he also never made an all-defense team appearance. But at the very least, he could be a decent help defender, and he was a bit of an underrated shot blocker, which in large part had to do with his long wingspan and his terrific leaping ability. He averaged 1.2 blocks over his career, reaching as high as 1.8 during the 73-74 season, which is significantly higher than most wing players. With all of those aspects considered, I have to call this one a tie between both stars. Last on the list of categories is accolades, and both of these greats had plenty of them. Iverson for his career was the 2001 League MVP. He was a 4-time scoring champion, 3-time steals champion, he made 11 All-Star teams, 7 All-NBA teams, and made 1 trip to the NBA Finals. In his 14 seasons, he averaged 26.7 points, 6.2 assists, 3.7 rebounds, and 2.2 steals on 42.5% shooting. Gervin was a 4-time scoring champion. He made 12 All-Star teams, 7 All-NBA teams, and 2 All-ABA teams, but he never made it to the ABA or NBA Finals. For his career, he averaged 25.1 points, 5.3 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and 1 block on 50.4% shooting. With all aspects considered, ultimately, it's close. Very close. But I have to say that Allen Iverson is just slightly ahead of Gervin as the greater overall player, and the major separating factor is how Iverson can impact the game in a number of ways with his skill set of playmaking and distributing to go along with the fact that he's one of the greatest scorers and especially playoff scorers the game has ever seen. So, who you got? Let me know in a comment who you think is the greater player, and who are some other players you would like to see square off in this series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
king, some dudes wore the crown. Gotta say rest in peace to James Brown. I know you love the sound coming through your speakers. Feel it from your hat all the way to your sneakers. I wrote this thesis with pieces of the puzzle missing. Make sure you choose wisely, it's your decision. Got a rendition and rhetoric you never heard. Spit it with clarity, my words are never slurred. I concurred after seeing the facts, baby. Very enthused after being relaxed, baby. Slip through the cracks and pass by undetected. You don't gotta like it, but you know you're respected. Well connected and still make it pop. People wanna know, I'm the king.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Another week, another episode. This is the End of the Bench podcast. You are listening on Built for This Network, produced by Spreaker.com. This is your man, HYB. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning, good evening, good night. And it doesn't make a difference what time of the day is. At some point, somebody be listening to this at that time, and that will be appropriate. It is morning, evening, and night somewhere in the world presently. Thank you for tuning in. This is HYB with my main man, Joe from Houston. What's good, Joe?
Chilling, man. Another day. Great week in sports. Ready to get on to it.
Now, as I say every week, this is a podcast. That means there's no such thing as I was at work when you were online. I missed your show, or any of those clown statements that I get on a regular basis. Please keep those comments to yourself. You can catch us on Spreaker.com, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also keep up with me at @HRAP_B on Instagram and on Twitter if you want to get at me. It's going to be another interesting night. And you know I do this every week. I acknowledge my ancestors and my family, everybody who's related to me in the Whitmore, Pollard, Turner, Battle, Cotton, Harper, Bailey, Lansdowne, Lincoln's, Duncan, and you already know me, my father, my mother, my brothers, my kids, the Williams clan, and we are always in the building. Now, this is going to be an interesting week, man. This has been an interesting week. I'm going to start off with little foolishness at the end of the day. This is pure madness. I don't understand it. This hip hop thing is taking over the world. I'm gonna be a hip hop inside down. I don't understand why everybody feels that they must be a part of it. What's the thinking behind this? As of yesterday, it was announced that breakdancing is an Olympic sport. How in the hell is breakdancing an Olympic sport? Thoughts on that? How you feel about that, Joe?
Man, it was the same feeling I had. That's crazy. But hey, maybe we come to another thing we can excel in the Olympic sports and give these champions out there and do their thing. And y'all is trying to put something new in. I say go for it.
It's kind of stupid to me. It's a waste of time. It's an utter waste of time, or utter and ridiculous waste of time. I don't understand why they did it. I mean, I understand. Look. Everybody is down with the hip hop movement. Hip hop is taking over the world. I